Hello, all my little weirdos, and welcome back to Freaky Friday, where each week I bring you along on a tale of a legendary ghostie. This episode, I'm taking you to not just one particular part of England, but we are following a ghostie who makes her rounds all around that country, which, as she should, because the way she was taken out was both shocking and unjust, and I think she deserves the luxury of travel in her afterlife. So let's dive into the life and death of Anne Boleyn. Anne Boleyn was the second wife of King Henry VIII, and I have so much unreasonably yet so reasonable animosity towards that 400-pound piece of garbage. And that woman somehow managed to spend over 3 years married to him. Yuck. But we're here to talk about her, not him. So during this marriage, the only child that survived was who would become Queen Elizabeth I. Hence, Anne put Henry's dynasty at risk by not being able to produce a male heir. On top of that, Henry grew tired of Anne, which is nothing new because the man went through 6 wives, and he wanted to trade her in for a new model. However, divorce was a big no-no with royalty, especially back then, so Henry had to get crafty. He created a false narrative about Anne, blowing smoke about her committing adultery and incest, as well as planning his death. So, off with her head, literally. Anne was beheaded in 1536, and that beheading was executed by that nasty creature she called her husband. One of the places that Anne Boleyn hangs out at in the afterlife is the Tower of London, which it makes sense. It's where her life was taken from her. I would be poltergeisting the shit out of that place if it were me. It is reported that Anne's spirit has been seen leading a procession of knights and ladies throughout the tower with her head held in her arms. And another place that Anne likes to wander is her childhood home, the Hever Castle. And this one actually makes me really sad for her because it's been reported that she can be found at her childhood castle, specifically on Christmas Eve. She's been spotted floating across a bridge that spans across the grounds, also wandering the garden, and she's also been seen under an old oak tree near the castle. But Anne doesn't stop there. She has also been spotted at her birthplace, Blickling Hall in Norfolk, England. And I actually love this one because it does give off real campfire ghost story vibes. It has been reported that on May 19th, which is her execution date, she takes an annual trip to Blickling Hall, arriving by a headless coachman and 4 headless horses. She wanders the halls before dawn, carrying her severed and dripping head, dressed in all white. Also, the Hampton Court Palace is one of the last places that Anne is famously reported to be seen at. This palace is where she lived during her time as queen and where she suffered the miscarriage that ended her husband's love for her. So it is full of both joyful and sorrowful times for Anne. She has been spotted wandering the areas where her apartments were, wearing dark clothing and mourning the loss of that child. And this palace actually seems to be the hotspot for King Henry's wives to link up and haunt, because it has been reported that the ghost of his third wife, Jane Seymour, and the ghost of his fifth wife, Catherine Howard, have also inhabited this creepy castle. So that is the story of Anne Boleyn, her cruddy marriage to that psychopath, her bitter end, and her nostalgic afterlife. If you have any other ghosties that you would like for me to do an episode on, drop a comment below. I am always willing to get down and dirty and do the research so I can tell y'all all about it. So until next time, bye!